It was April 2012 in the Johannesburg High Court. Crowds gathered outside, cheering as if they were celebrating a hometown hero. But inside, a very different story was unfolding. William Mashobane Mbatha, known across South Africa as the King of Bling, was being sentenced to an effective 35 years in prison, stemming from a total of over 113 years in convictions. Dressed sharply as always, Mbatha hugged his family one last time before police tactical officers whisked him away to Sun City Prison. To some, he was a symbol of style, wealth, and power. To others, he was a ruthless criminal who terrorized families while pretending to be a police officer. His story is one of glamour, deception, and crime, and how it all came crashing down. William Mbatha was born and raised in Atteridgeville, west of Pretoria. His father was none other than Lucas Masterpieces Marite, one of South Africa's most legendary footballers, a man once nicknamed the God of Football. But while his father was celebrated on the pitch, William's life took a very different turn. He dropped out of school after grade 9, never completing his education. By the age of 18, he had already had his first run-in with the law, convicted of theft. At 27, he received a suspended sentence for corruption, and in 2010, he was convicted of tax evasion of over 500,000 rand, earning a fine and another suspended sentence. For Lucas Marite, his son's path was heartbreaking. In a 2009 interview, the football legend admitted regret, saying, "I failed as a father to look after William and guide him as a parent." The fractured relationship between father and son would remain a shadow over William's life, one that would later become painfully clear when Mbatha was denied leave to attend his father's funeral in 2021, due to being classified a high-risk inmate. Despite his troubled beginnings, Mbatha reinvented himself in his 30s as a Pretoria tycoon. He built a life of excess and spectacle. He owned multiple houses, including a 2.5 million rand mansion in Irene, a weekend home at Hartbeespoort Dam, and another property in Hartbeesfontein. He ran several businesses, including Ram Square Cafe and Jazz Pub in Atteridgeville, Mbatha Travel, and a fleet of 7 minibus taxis. He also earned over 100,000 rand a month from various ventures. But it wasn't the businesses that made him famous, it was his flamboyance. Mbatha would arrive at his nightclub, Ram Square, in a convoy of Harley-Davidson motorbikes. At the entrance stood a custom-made statue of himself, which his staff dressed in designer clothing and gold chains before his arrival. Inside, a table was always reserved for him, lined with bottles of Moet champagne and expensive whiskey. He would throw 200 rand notes into the air, walk into the sound of Moneymaker, and bask in the attention. He rubbed shoulders with international stars like R. Kelly and Akon, hosted exclusive parties in Johannesburg, and was the talk of social circles. It was this lifestyle, marked by Ferraris, BMWs, Lamborghinis, and lavish spending, that earned him the title King of Bling. But behind the bling was a dark reality. Mbatha's wealth wasn't just from business. Prosecutors later proved that he was the mastermind behind a spate of violent robberies across Johannesburg. The gang's modus operandi was chilling. They dressed as police officers, complete with fake appointment cards, reflector vests, and flashing blue lights. They entered homes under the guise of police raids. Once inside, victims were handcuffed, suffocated with plastic bags, beaten, and robbed of money, jewelry, firearms, and even luxury casino chips. Among the victims were Yun Chai, who was robbed of jewelry, cash, and 2 Silver Star casino chips worth 100,000 rand each. Ismail Omar, who lost 200,000 rand in cash, electronics, guns, and jewelry, later testifying that Mbatha had been caught on CCTV during the attack. Other families who were robbed of US dollars, firearms, and valuables, worth hundreds of thousands of rands. In one case, Mbatha and his accomplices ambushed Peter Moapelo, hijacked his Mercedes-Benz, and stole goods worth 700,000 rand. The robberies weren't just thefts, they were carefully planned operations. As Judge Naren Pandya later remarked, it was clear that proper homework was done before robbing the victims. Police had been investigating Mbatha since at least 2007, working tirelessly to build their case. The breakthrough came in 2009 when Mbatha was arrested in connection with a Bedford View business robbery while picking up his 2.7 million rand Lamborghini from a service center. Despite being arrested multiple times and even released on bail more than once, Mbatha's notoriety grew. Crowds often gathered outside courts, treating him more like a celebrity than a criminal. By 2012, after years of trials, witness testimonies, and identity parades, Mbatha was convicted on 24 counts, including robbery with aggravating circumstances, 4 counts, kidnapping, 4 counts, unlawful possession of firearms, 4 counts, impersonating police officials, 4 counts, possession of police uniforms, 4 counts. He was sentenced to over 113 years, but with concurrent terms, he would serve 35 years at Kokstad Maximum Prison, one of South Africa's most secure facilities. Judge Pandya was scathing. He showed no remorse and maintained his innocence. These robberies were well planned, executed in broad daylight, and left his victims traumatized. Even after his sentencing, Mbatha remained a divisive figure. In Atteridgeville, some still saw him as a role model, an underdog who had risen from nothing to wealth, style, and influence. Crowds clapped as he was taken away by police, calling him a hero. But for his victims, he was a predator who had left scars that could never be erased. Families who had been tied up, assaulted, and suffocated described him not as a hero, but as a calculated criminal who thrived on fear. The state seized much of his wealth. A 2.4 million rand home furniture worth 2 million rand, 3 Harley-Davidson bikes, luxury cars, and properties. His empire crumbled, leaving behind only the myth of the King of Bling. Today, William Mbatha sits behind bars, serving out his 35-year term. He was once the man who defined Johannesburg nightlife, rolling in Lamborghinis, showering crowds with cash, and dining with celebrities. But beneath the glamour was a trail of violence, deception, and destruction. Even his family ties were stained. His father, the legendary Lucas Moripe, died in 2021. Yet Mbatha was denied permission to attend the funeral. It was the final reminder of a life torn apart by choices and consequences. From township boy to flashy tycoon, from nightclub king to high-risk prisoner, Mbatha's story is a cautionary tale. How quickly a life built on crime and excess can collapse. For some, he remains the King of Bling. For others, he is remembered only as a man who brought fear into the homes of ordinary South Africans. Today, William Mbatha serves out his sentence in a maximum security facility. He was locked away more than a decade ago, a flamboyant figure whose downfall was dramatic and public. But now a new twist is emerging. After spending more than 10 years behind bars, reports suggest that Mbatha may be eligible for parole. Although details remain limited, this development marks a new phase in a saga that began with excess and ended in incarceration. If granted parole, he would step into a society changed long ago, where the bling he once flaunted has faded into memory, and his victims continue to live with the scars of his actions. Whether this possible release will bring closure, renewed scrutiny, or fresh controversy remains to be seen. The man who once ruled the nightlife, the fast bikes, the designer jackets may soon face his greatest challenge yet. Life outside the prison walls without the bling, under the weight of his legacy.